Mr. Gustafson, can you hear?
No, I can't.
No, I can't.
I can hear.
Now you can.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I'll call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And would the clerk please note that we have Councilmember Gustafson on Zoom and the rest of the council is present in the chambers. Thank you. So we continue to be creative with how we manage and hold our council meetings so that we continue to be transparent. And tonight's meeting is being conducted both in person and online. Our city council members and staff are here in the council chambers, except for Councilmember Gustafson and our attorney. They are on our Zoom stage. Members of the public may attend in person if they like. Otherwise, the public can watch this meeting online at burnsvillemn.gov/meetings or Comcast channel 16 or 859. The public can also participate through Zoom by joining us at zoom.us/join or by calling 651-8299, 651-372-8299. And more information is available on our meeting webpage and in the council agenda packet. If Zoom meetings attendee experience issues, we ask that you leave the meeting and log back in. This usually solves the problem. And so welcome to everyone. The next item on our agenda is announcements. And we have announcements for all of our upcoming meetings. Council regular meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, March 2nd. That meeting is canceled. And Tuesday, March 16th at 5:30 p.m. We have a work session that's scheduled for Tuesday, March 9th at 5:30 p.m. And tonight we have a closed session that's Tuesday, February 16th at 6 p.m. And this is to complete the city manager's review in the Dakota B room. And then we have our all-day work session, and that's for Friday, February 26th at 9 a.m. And that will take place in the Dakota Community Room here at City Hall. But all meetings are held here in the council chambers. Okay, the next item is citizens' comments. This is the opportunity for anyone in the audience or watching us online to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. Is there anyone in the audience or in queue? Okay, our city clerk has a comment. Ms. Collins?
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to let you know that we do have one person attending the meeting via Zoom this evening.
Okay.
If you would like to speak to this, if you would like to speak to the citizens' comments portion, please use the raise hand function and we'll promote you to a panelist.
Okay, I see that, but there is no one that has asked to speak
Not
in
yet.
citizens' comments.
I just wanted to ensure that they were
Yeah.
aware of the protocol.
Oh, good, okay. And our meeting host is aware of that as well, yeah. Okay, we will then move on. And the next item is for emergency items only, and this is additions to the final agenda. Ms. Lee, are there any emergency items?
There are not, Madam Mayor.
Okay, members of the council? Okay, very good. Then we will move on. The next item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is is considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. However, an item on the consent agenda can be removed for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom who wishes to address the council? I don't see any. City Manager Lee?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay, members of the council? May I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda, please?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, Councilmember Workman makes the motion,
Second.
second by Councilmember Schultz. If the clerk will take the roll, please.
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Couts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now we move on to the regular agenda, and there is one item on the regular agenda, and this is the presentation and update from the Ames Center. And our executive director from the Ames Center, Mr. Brian Luther, is presenting this evening, and there is no action required. Good evening, Mr. Luther, and welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council members, Community of Burnsville, City Manager Lee. Thank you for having me here tonight. We're going to just do a brief overview of current Ames Center business operations and just a financial update as well. So feel free as I move forward here to ask any questions you may have, and I'm happy to answer those for you. So we will start first with our 2020 year-end results. Obviously 2020 was a very unique year for us, not the year that we had anticipated coming off such a strong 2019, but we ended up, our total revenue was $895,714. Our total expenses were $1.1 million, 23,663. So we ended up posting a loss of $227,949. And that actually, all things considered, was not too bad. We had looked at some scenarios going back to a city council meeting as early as June that was forecasting, depending on when we would reopen, anywhere between a $244,000 loss on the best case to a $362,000 loss. And we had really narrowed that down to about a $243,000 loss when I presented on October 27th. So luckily we just had some expenses that we just didn't have to fulfill, and we also received some grant income from Dakota County. So all in all, very pleased with the year-end results. I mean, obviously we don't want to end that low again. We want to come out of that and get better, and that's where our budget is this year. We're at $147,000 loss. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well too. So a reopening update. Since the last time I presented in October, there was quite a bit that's taken place. We were open at that point, and we were operating under a 250-person maximum capacity in various spaces of the Ames Center, and it's a 25% occupancy capped at 250. And then in mid-November, we received Executive Order 2099, which did close us down for, at that point, an indefinite amount of time. We weren't sure when we were going to reopen. And so we went into the year with some concern of what we were going to do with some of the events that we had in first quarter. And so we worked with our clients, and we really held out as long as we could. But we were able to reopen again under Executive Order 2021. Beginning on January 12th. And that one was a little different with the terms. We still had the 25% occupancy level, but instead of a 250 cap, we had 150. So there was a challenge with that to be able to accommodate a lot of the events that we were really waiting on. So we were able to get some movement on that here recently. And I want to take an opportunity to thank you, Madam Mayor, for the work that you did to advocate with the governor's office and with DEED and channels that you worked through at the state level, and all the city council members who were advocating for us to help get that turned. And as of Friday, we received great news on that we're going to be able to get that capacity back up to 250 people. And so that really helps us out. And we've been, since that time, the last few days, even up until today, working with clients to get events booked, and we held off on some on sales, so this really helps us. We obviously want to see some movement in future executive orders to give us some more leeway to operate. We know we can operate safely. We'll start working on that going forward and what we think the best approach would be, but we're very pleased to see where we are, so thank you all on that. So programming update, I broke this down into a first quarter scenario. Typically, we don't do forecasting until we close out first quarter. There's still a lot of uncertainties under a normal year of what the second half, particularly fourth quarter, would bring, and fourth quarter is such a critical quarter for us to find out where we're gonna end compared to budget or better than budget. So I felt it'd be best just to look at January through March based off of what we had budgeted and where we are now. And on the top part of this column, we have dance competitions, 5 dance competitions, which is what we had budgeted for. We have an increase in the event days, up to 21 from 19. So what we're seeing is some additional days on the front end to accommodate the lower capacity so that we can bring more people through. So that's working out well for us. We have 2 business meetings, which is similar to the budget, 1 less event day with those, and an extra community civic event. Some rehearsals were a little bit higher. But the one I'll point out is ticketed events. With the closure in January and the events we had even into February that required 250 people, we were not able to accommodate, at least as we sit halfway through first quarter right now. So we did see a bit of a decline there, and that will, I'll show you on the budget side too, on the forecast, and that really feeds into kind of where we are with that. So our numbers, at least on programming, are fairly consistent with the exception of the ticketed events. But right now we have 2 columns with the forecast amount compared to budget. And if we go to the bottom, right now we're looking at ending first quarter with a profit of just over $100,000. Our budget had it at $106,000, almost $107,000. And so that really reflects the difference in some of the ticketed events that we were gonna have during that time. Also, with 6 weeks left within first quarter and the booking, the inquiries that we're receiving now, I would expect we might get another event to drop in. We might get some additional business meetings or dance rehearsals or things, probably not ticketed events at this point, but some revenues that might come in during first quarter too. So I'm not gonna be too concerned going into this. Looking at year end, I feel confident that we'll be able to still hit our budgeted amount or exceed it.
Okay.
Especially unless there's any
Yeah.
unforeseen circumstances that would come up, we should be on a good path to be able to hit those numbers.
Brian,
Yeah,
Yep.
question. Is it safe to say that given the fact that you were just increased from 150 to 250 and the performances or bookings that you had when you were hoping to get to 250 sooner back in January 9th, and because that just happened and we're midway through the quarter, and normally don't you book further out than a week or 2 or 3, right? So any recovery that you can make in the first quarter is pretty substantial, given the fact that you don't really operate in a futuristic planning mode of 2 to 4 weeks, right? You're months out, right? And so to get back to the 106 or even to get back to close to that number, given the obstacles, is pretty good. So, and it almost lends itself to some optimism in the second and third quarter, right? Because I know your full year plan was based on a 25%, 250 max for the whole year.
Correct.
Right, and clearly we hope, like we all hope, that 25 goes to 50% and 500 people in the near future, and then and even further, deeper into the year, but thank you. I just think the first quarter at 100, booking at 106 is remarkable, given you really didn't have much of a quarter to work with for capacity.
Yeah, well, I think that's an accurate representation, and we are typically programming 6 months to a year, even longer out on many events. Given the reaction, though, the artists and the groups that we're working with now are booking in a lot shorter term, especially in the second quarter, and that's what I've been working on. I spent most of the morning today working with an artist for a family show that would take place in May, and so he's willing to take a risk on it. It's definitely outside the comfort zone of on-sale timeframes and trying to find a way to make it work, but as we communicated over the weekend and was able to inform them that, yes, we went up to 250 because we're looking at the same scenario for 150. It made it a lot better. And so we're going to see, probably more in the second quarter, we'll see, you know, how that recovery works. But I think you're absolutely right. As we see some good progress, we'll be up to that 50% before too long.
And there may be some changes also.
Computer's about to restart.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I have a question.
Councilmember Gustafson, I didn't see your hand up, sir.
Oh, I just put it in.
Councilmember Gustafson has a
Here, let me
question.
raise my hand.
Yeah,
Number
there,
one.
now I can
There
see
we-
your hand.
Brian, now that we're at the 250 level, are you seeing more opportunity for the type of concerts that are happening at, like the Crooners and the Chanhassens and that, which actually has a much lower level of capacity than we do now that we're at the 250? Those bands approaching you again?
Yeah, we've been.
Because I know they work on a much shorter schedule.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. And, you know, that outreach is beginning and we're gonna look at what opportunities we have. And so obviously take advantage of any of those that we can along the way, but, you know, absolutely. I think the challenge we're gonna have right now is a lot of the dates, at least in the first half of the year, weekend dates are pretty much gone at this point, which is a good thing. But we're looking at how we can kind of fill some of those midweek dates, and if there's opportunities there, definitely we'll be doing that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Please, okay.
Projects, back in December, the last city council meeting of the year on December 8th, we had submitted some projects for Ames Center. So the big one that obviously we're all anxiously awaiting is the new carpet replacement. That will
Yeah,
begin in
finally.
March. Yes, finally.
Yeah.
So we've been getting all those details ironed out in the contracts, and that's moving forward. So we should be able to begin those installations in March. The new architectural lighting controls have been installed, and
Oh, good.
it's almost like a different building. We have a rehearsal taking place in the building last night, tonight, and tomorrow night. And walking through the building, now that we have those systems in place, we're seeing lights that I haven't seen for a while. So it's very
good.
nice to have in place, and a lot easier programming different lighting cues and areas that we haven't been able to before. So it'll just look really nice
Great.
and have it operational, which would be good. And the chiller pipes, the leaky pipe project replacement is near completion, so those contractors have been working for about the last month. And I want to pass along thanks to Dan Hill and Chris Kilmer for their partnerships and working with us on that from the city, and they've been great to work with us on that project, as they are with all the projects. Upcoming projects we're working on, a new ice maker in the kitchen, so that one's one we're gonna get installed here pretty soon. Replacing our ClearCom system, and that's a system that our technicians wear during the event to communicate, the headsets with microphones. And it's time for us to get a new control system for our exterior lighting fins. And so we're gonna be working on that project coming up too, and there's a bunch of others, but those are probably the three that we're gonna look at here and target on the next
So will
round.
the pillars light up again?
Yes, yes. We've been having some challenges with
Yeah.
that, and so, we did get a chance, the contractor was in for the architectural lighting, so
Yeah.
was able to just at least take a glance at what we had there, and the technology for control systems has changed tremendously
It has,
since,
it has,
you know,
because Phillips put
2009.
those in
Yep.
at the beginning,
Yes,
and, yeah.
yeah, so
Because we
there's
wanted to do something around Christmas if you know, on the building. No, there was one that we needed to do for, something that had to do with,
Women's Equality Day.
yeah. And we thought that
Yep.
the lights from the Ames Center
Yep.
on the pillars, but they weren't working.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but we're gonna have that fixed here.
Fixed.
Yeah, very soon.
Okay,
And to the
good.
point where you can actually control it from a mobile device.
Oh, nice.
So now, I don't know if that's what we're gonna end up doing, but the technology is there so
Yeah.
that it can be done
Good,
fairly simply now,
Yeah.
so that'll be good.
excellent.
Grant updates. So as I had mentioned before, and I want to correct, I had said a $10,000 grant from Dakota County for our financials. Actually, we received a $5,000 Dakota County Small Business Relief Grant. Received it in January. That was applied for back at the end of the year, so that did go into our fiscal year 20 financials. And that was a very simple process, and I want to thank Dakota County and Commissioner Workman for for her support in that and making sure that Ames Center was thought of. We also have applied for the round 4 Dakota County Small Business Relief Grant. Maximum eligibility, if we were to receive the grant, would be $10,000 for that one. And so
Okay,
hopefully we'll hear
good.
soon. I know that closed on Friday. We did apply for the Deed Convention Center Relief Grant. We were deemed ineligible for that one, but it was.
I know.
it was
I
one-
tried. I
Yep,
tried.
I know. It was one that, and I had good conversations with representatives at Deed about,
Yeah.
the grant and our application specifically. There was definitely a gray area within the definitions
Yeah.
of that grant that at least was
Yeah.
worth it. And I will say, along with Dakota County, Deed has been, the grant process going through it has been very simple and was a very, very easy process to go through. They're very responsive along the way too, so. And then the big ones that we're really looking at right now are the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant, per the CARES Act, and the PPP Second Draw. So with these two options, our CFO, Tim Sullivan, has been working with his team to determine which venues within the VenueWorks family fit best for each model, that we're not gonna be able to go for both, we have to pick one or the other. And looking at the difference, it was identified that the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant is the best one for Ames Center to pursue. And they've not posted the grant yet or all the details. There's been some FAQ documents as recent as last Friday that have come out to identify definitions and various areas. So we are really waiting right now for them to finalize that process. Everything we see so far still shows that this is the best option for us. We just need to wait till they identify
Yeah.
that so that we can go forward and they'll have a better idea of what we would be eligible for at that time.
Yeah, and that's under the CARES Act second draw.
That would be that'd be the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant.
Oh, okay,
And so that was part of the Save Our Stages campaign that was, that then became the Shuttered Venue Operators
Okay.
Grant from federal level.
okay.
So we should know on that here, we thought by mid-month, I was surprised, I thought we'd hear something by the end of next week, but it sounds like there might still be some details that they're working out on that. So, ending slide, just areas of priority. Right now, safely hosting all of our upcoming events. We start our first dance competition this season on Thursday with Masquerade Dance. They're gonna load in and we have
Really?
3 days, yes.
Oh, wow,
And then-
okay, because masqueraders, they come and they stay. The hotels must be happy, huh?
Yeah, well, we're hoping so. So we'll find out once they get here. We'll be able to get a better idea of their registration list and who would be doing overnight stays. But I know their crew does stay in town the whole time. And
Yeah.
then we also have dance competition next week, which will start on Tuesday and go through the full week. So we're seeing some good usage. So straight through, and I'd reference the weekend availability. We are in a full swing of dance competition. We've been working with the promoters to put together our preparedness plan specific to dance competitions. And and they're working with us, so their best practices that they've seen within the other markets they work in, and also ours when they were here back in the summertime for the events. And so I'm sure
Our
all the pieces
hotels
in place.
must be happy
Yeah.
because the Ames Center has always been a driver
Absolutely.
for them, yeah.
Yes, and I know that we'll hopefully start seeing some more business from dance competitions going to the restaurants.
Absolutely,
Restaurants and
yes.
businesses. Event programming through the 2022-2023 season. Right now, my focus is Q2 of this year to make sure we can get all the dates booked and finalized. But we'll be, hopefully within the next few weeks, have a better idea of what the end of this year is gonna look like and our strategy for those and for on sales. Obviously applying for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant and continued advocacy on lifting operating restrictions safely and working on what we think is the next round of support. And as I said last time, it's not just thriving, it's not just surviving, it's thriving.
Yeah.
And we're poised for that, so. The team's ready, can't thank my staff enough, they've done a great job, working hard in many different capacities to make sure the building's ready to go, to make sure that got all the pieces in place, and so, we're there and we're ready, so.
Well, I want to thank you, Brian, for all of the good work that you all are doing to make sure that this very important asset to the community of Burnsville is well taken care of and ready for opening up to the public to enjoy all of the different entertainment that's going to come. So thank you to you and your staff. Please extend our deepest gratitude.
I will, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Keely?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, it's been a pleasure working with you so far. We've had a couple of meetings with City Manager Lee, myself, and you, and in the new liaison position, and it's been very educational for me, and I hope that I'm providing some input and advice from the legislative standpoint and get some things moving. And but I really feel good about how you're really managing through this crisis and how you have managed. I mean, it's been going on for so many months now. I feel like we should be talking about it in the past tense, and we're still stuck in the middle of it for the most part. And so optimistic about 2021, given your leadership. I look back at that number that was, that loss of 220,000, and I thought, it wasn't that many years ago that was the norm. I mean, you go back 5-6 years before you
Much
came
higher
on.
than 225.
It was even higher than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, every year it was $250,000, $300,000 loss.
Yeah.
And under your leadership, you took us to well into over $100,000 profit before the pandemic came. So I really want to acknowledge, you've already done a fantastic job of driving that, maximizing the revenue and bringing an operational profit to an entity that wasn't expected to have one at all, really. In the initial model, it was probably not even fathomed that we'll ever make money, but you might reduce this loss. And you took us into that profitable area, and I'm very confident you'll do it again when we get past this little distraction that's really caused so many problems for you. Very big distraction. It's been a pain in the rear. But anyway, great work, and I'm glad that, I'm very confident that you're working very closely with all those performers, those actors, those entertainers, the ticketed events, just to find anyone that you possibly can in this limited capacity. And then when that additional capacity comes, you'll be ready to pull the trigger and bring some more acts in. And so I'm still waiting for Chris Isaac, just waiting. Chris Isaac at the Burnsville Center. Mr. Gustafson, did you chuckle?
I laughed.
Councilmember Gustafson? Yeah.
My wife is waiting for Chris Isaac more than I am, but I am too now. We'll get back to those days where we can see some, have a packed house with some great concerts, along with many other types of plays and performances. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you. And thank you for being our liaison on City Council. I appreciate all the work you've done, and I want to thank City Manager Lee as well for the work that you're doing, and that I think the meetings we've had have been very, very beneficial, and going forward, I think we've got a great system in place, so thank you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, we're a team.
Yep.
We all need to work together
Absolutely.
to make sure that the assets that belong to the people of Burnsville are serviced and that and they're working.
Yes.
So thank you, Brian, for coming in. Mr. Luther, thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it, and this is great because, Mr. Luther, our residents are watching, and then now they have some information, so.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Luther, Madam Mayor, Brian will be back in about 2 months.
Yes.
To give us
Yep.
another update.
Yep.
So every
Yep.
couple months will be in
Yep.
front of us, and it give the
Yep.
public a chance to see this as well.
Yeah, City Manager Lee has that schedule all in place, so
Yep.
we look forward to seeing you again.
Yes, I look forward to being back in April. Have
Yeah.
some more good news to
Yeah,
share.
more good.
So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the council, there are no other items to come before us this evening, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Councilmember Keely makes a motion, second by Councilmember Workman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. I think I heard, did Councilmember Gustafson say,
You heard me say aye.
yeah.
Do we have to roll call that because he's not here?
No, I was thinking we don't, Attorney Jamnik, we don't have to roll call that, do we?
No, we're fine with that, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we stand adjourned.